extremely happy to be publishing Anu Malhotra's incredible work, a work that has taken her almost 20 years, in two different formats, film and then the book, Shamans of the Himalayas. Anu Malhotra, for all of us growing up in the early 90s, travel programs on Doordarshan were synonymous with AIM television, and all of us know of Namaste India and Indian Holiday. Those programs introduced us to the incredible India that we have. And Incredible India is also a slogan that Anu actually coined. It has been brilliant, absolutely wonderful to get this, to be able to publish this book. I have to thank Antara for that, passing the book my way. This is a world that I had no idea about, no knowledge about, and then reading all about it and finding out the incredible world of the shamans of the Himalayas was such a learning experience. I'd like to call upon Ajay Mago.
Thank you, Shantanu. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Om Books International, it is my privilege to welcome you to this special occasion, the launch of Shamans of the Himalayas, authored by the acclaimed filmmaker, documentarian, and cultural chronicle, Anu Malhotra. We are especially honored by the presence of our esteemed chief guest, Mr. Pavan K Varma, a distinguished former diplomat, prolific author, former member of parliament, and one of India's most respected and articulate voices on culture, politics, and civilizational thought. Sir, we are deeply grateful for your gracious presence this evening. Shamans of the Himalayas is an extraordinary work, the culmination of years of dedicated fieldwork, careful observation, and profound engagement. It takes readers into the spiritual and cultural heart of the Kullu Valley in Himachal Pradesh, a region widely known as Devbhumi, the land of gods. Through this immersive and richly illustrated volume, which draws deeply from the powerful documentaries Anu Malhotra has made on the subject, she introduces us to the fascinating world of Himachali shamans, spiritual guides who transverse the realms of the material and the mystical events. With unprecedented access, she captures sacred rituals, healing practices, exorcism, and magical religious ceremonies that have rarely, if ever, been documented in such depth. Yet, this book is far more than the visual or ethnographic record. It is a thoughtful exploration of the intersection between belief, tradition, and community, an insight into how ancient shamanic practices continue to inform the psychological and social fabric of local life. At Om Books International, we are honored to be the publishing partner for a work of such enduring cultural and anthropological significance. In a world of increasingly shaped by modernity and uniformity, Shamans of the Himalayas stands as a powerful act of preservation and storytelling, a bridge between worlds. I would like to express our sincere gratitude to Anu Malhotra for entrusting us with this important and timely publication. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Ajay, and I'm sorry I was not dressed properly for the occasion. I had to put this on. I would now like to invite our chief guest, Mr. Pavan Varma, the author, Anu Malhotra, our publisher, Ajay Mago, and CEO, Sanjay Mago of Om Books International on stage for the proper book release. Now I request Anu to present Mr. Varma with a shawl and the traditional Kulu topi. If we could just have the...
For me, It's a great privilege to be releasing Anu's book on the Shamans of the Himalayas because I must make a disclosure of bias. And the bias is that I'm biased towards Anu. I'm biased towards her because of her remarkable perseverance in exploring the unfamiliar. Over the years, as she spent time alone in the hills, in Devbhumi as she calls it, she began her odyssey to discover the indigenous communities and their culture. We are all perhaps aware that they exist. Anyone familiar with the Himalayas know that they exist, but to get under the surface of things, go deeper, to do that with empathy, to research and to understand, to have an open mind, these are qualities of a true researcher. And in her case, the research was definitely hyphenated with passion. She's an extremely talented filmmaker, most of you know that. And the work that she has done in the visual format on subjects similar to this stand testimony to that. In a way, this book is important for us to read. And I would really urge all of you to do that because normally we see what she explores with so much respect and reverence as exotica. We see it as some kind of boutique culture, more noteworthy for the sartorial exuberance of those who practice it, rather than the deeper meanings behind some of their rituals, some of their practices, some of their beliefs, some of their convictions. It's seen by us, we look upon them as curiosity. And I genuinely think that we need to go beyond that because there is another world there. As I was glancing through this book, my respect for her work grew because she studies their beliefs, traditions, and notions which we speak about but don't internalize. Well-being, community, even happiness, togetherness, shared values. So I would like to sincerely congratulate her on this book, to her publishers.
I'd like to call upon Anu.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, everybody, for coming. I am really happy to see many friends over here. Thank you, really, and thank you, Pavan, so much for being here. This was just to thank all of you for being here. Heartfelt gratitude.
Well, you know, I'm a big admirer of hers to begin with. I think she's an exceptional person. She's one of the most open-minded people I know. She has this curiosity which is unbelievable. She dives into everything that she does with passion. And that's palpable in anything she does. I've seen her artwork, I've seen when she does other things. And of course, she's a renowned documentary filmmaker. And her knowledge, the kind of research she does. Now, I know nothing about shamans. And I'm fascinated because of Anu and the interest that she has sort of sparked in my mind. Before I walked in, and I'm sorry I walked in a little late, but before I walked in, I bought the book because I knew that I wanted to read it.
I was very intrigued by the book itself. I know very little about shamanism generally, and even less about the shamans of Himachal and the Himalayas. And I learned very recently of Anu Malhotra's interest in the area and the fact that she's made 4 documentaries on the subject as well as written this book. So I'm waiting to get my teeth into the book, to sink my teeth into them to find out more about this.
This event itself has placed the entire context together. It was interesting to see the way people spoke about community and also the kind of storytelling that takes place even within the storytelling. And I have a tremendous amount of respect for Anu as well as the team that she must have put together. Even for her book and how she's trying to vocalize that at this stage. I thought the event itself was superbly interesting, and I myself, as a person who was initially a little skeptical about, shamans, and it's really something I'm not very familiar with, I actually can't wait to get my hands on the book.
I think the event was so sincere. You have so many book launches and so many talks that you go and witness, and then you leave and you're not transformed in any way. But here everything was so threadbare. Anu is honest to the core. She gives credit where it's required. So if Meru took her around to get an in-depth view in Kulu, he got the credit for that. If she had certain experiences where she did things to integrate with the community, we got a peek into that. So what's nice is it's so honest that it has to be engaging, and that's Anu's philosophy.
To read about the kind of practices and rituals that the book talks about, sitting in a metro city like Delhi and imagining the world that Anu brings to life, and then actually going back to the film and seeing it unfold in front of your eyes. A huge learning experience that there's a world beyond the bubble that we call our high-rise city life.